All right, welcome back to the Let's Do Video Boardroom, everyone. And I'm here today with Sam Kennedy. Sam, thanks for being here. Can you please introduce yourself?
Thanks for having me. My name is Sam Kennedy. I run the product marketing team at Crestron. I've
Thanks.
been in the UC industry for about 25 years, a little more than 25 years. I spent 17 years at Polycom, but I've been now at Crestron for about 2 years. As I said, running a product marketing team, technical marketing, our experience centers.
Yeah, I think we've crossed paths for, at least 15 to 18 years at just
Yeah,
every trade
absolutely.
show. And I just saw you 2 weeks ago, was it at CEDIA?
Yeah. Yeah,
Which is going to be
CEDIA,
part of our discussion today.
and there was another, was it commercial integrator and CEDIA going on at the same
Yes.
time?
Yes, that was a great event, by the way.
Was.
But let's lead into, I'm so happy to have Crestron here for the first time, but it's not really for the first time because whenever you see a boardroom like this, and you know, this is the penthouse suite at the one of the tallest skyscrapers in South Florida. And throughout the building, I have 30 more meeting rooms. And whenever you have a setup like that, of course, it's all powered by Crestron. I mean, I'm not a caveman. I mean, that's just the way the business world works, right?
Absolutely, right. It's organizations need all that AV and all of their rooms, but particularly in those large rooms. And the fact that Crestron does all the AV controls, the all the different AV over IP routing, all the different peripherals that go in between. That's been Crestron's bread and butter for many years.
Yeah, the first thing I think of is the control panels outside the room, control panels inside the room. If I want to bring down the Let's Do Video website and bring up the Crestron website, of course, I'm using my Crestron control panel, and lights and curtains. People say, "Oh, lights and curtains," but that stuff is really important.
It's really important to make that experience seamless for the users. It absolutely is important.
Okay, so that if an outsider had that impression of Crestron is, oh, it's that meeting room control and office control, and the peripherals and the the AV related equipment in the room, that's what you guys do in a big way.
That's absolutely what we do, right? We're one of the biggest leaders in the market around all the audio visual needs for your rooms, for your buildings. On the commercial AV, we are absolutely one of the biggest leaders there.
And big developers at Infocom, which is not part of today's discussion, I really liked you had this hot desking thing. It looked like something out of Star Trek, but we'll talk about that another time. Let's get to today's announcements, starting with, I've seen these before, video bars. It's the hottest thing, so of course it's great that Crestron has it for their customers. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, as we just talked about, Crestron is known for being the leader in audio-visual communications, or all the different AV needs within a room with control and the different peripherals on the AV side. But Crestron also has is very strong in the unified communication space. So we've been absolutely one of the biggest leaders in selling Teams rooms and Zoom rooms. And all what Crestron is unique in that we tie the unified communications and AV worlds together in a way that really no other manufacturer does. Now, Crestron's been delivering UC solutions here for, let's say, I'd say 6, 7, 8 years, and very quickly we became one of the big leaders in the space. But our solutions have been solely based on Windows up until now. So we announced earlier in 2023 a new all-in-one video bar called the Crestron Videobar 70. That's what you have pictured here. So the Videobar 70 is an all-in-one device, meaning it's microphone, camera, speakers, and that Android compute to run a Zoom room. And what we're announcing as part of Zoomtopia is that the Crestron Videobar 70 is now Zoom certified. And there's one other really important point I'd like to call out on the device. So what's really critical about it, not only does it do all the great audio and video and camera tracking and framing and all the AI work that's built into the device itself, the really key differentiator, that little image kind of behind your head, is a picture of the cameras. There's actually 4 cameras built into the device. So we're targeting this product for medium to large rooms. And so having those 4 cameras allows us to have that visual for those large rooms, for that large boardroom that we're sitting in virtually right now. So the way it works, that top camera is a more wide angle lens. Think of it like an 80 to 90 degree field of view lens. It'll get anybody relatively close to the device. But the bottom 3 lenses, you can kind of see them that they're not straight on, and that gives
Yeah, they
us
seem to be.
better angles. Yeah, they're angled, and they each have a 41-degree field of view. Now that's really critical for when we're zooming in to someone up to 30 feet away. We're going to be able to zoom in, get a really nice tight shot, and maintain that high video quality. Because when you think of the way a digital zoom camera works, it doesn't technically zoom, right? It's just cropping. And so by having a very narrow field of view focused lens, you're able to have a lot more pixel density when I'm doing the zooming. So the fact that we now Crestron is in the all-in-one space with Android, and the fact that it's now Zoom certified is obviously very exciting to us.
Well, Zoom certification is huge. I feel like I've talked about this a lot, but it's so important. I had to mention it. Someone might not have heard it. When I came into the industry, I thought, oh, certification is a marketing thing. They put their logo on their thing. They make the button a different color, whatever. No, certification is it's a big process. They have to go through a lot of work. It's not just software. Sometimes it's hardware. They have to actually change the devices. And in a lot of ways, Zoom kind of knows video. It makes the devices, but not that Crestron doesn't know what they're doing. It makes it a better device. It's a process. It's a lot of work. So when someone says Zoom certified, I don't go, okay. I go, oh, okay. Another quick point.
It's not trivial. Getting certification is not trivial. It's not a rubber stamp. Very rarely. Again, I've been at not just Crestron, I've been at other manufacturers, and very rarely does, I think for any end users out there, it's not typically no one passes on the first try, right? You have to go back and work with their engineering team to fix things. So it's not a rubber stamp. It's not trivial to get certification. And certification is important for customers because you want something that is that Zoom stand. If you call Zoom for support, they're going to pick up the phone and work with you. If you go with a non-certified solution, you just don't know what you're going to get. And so, yeah, that certification is not a trivial thing. Customers should feel very confident deploying certified solutions. And again, that's why we're so proud that we now have the certification on the Videobar 70.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people don't get because they think, well, the whole point of Zoom is that it works on everything. If I got a USB headset, it's a USB headset. It works with everything. Who cares if it's certified? It's not about it working. It's about it being a great experience.
Absolutely, and being supportable.
So my other thought, I don't want to move on from the Videobar. I have a few things to talk about here. The reason I'm so hot on this is because in this room, notice the problem that I have. I have 12 empty chairs because everyone is flex. I have 1 or 2 people here at any time. It used to be a full house. And I have, like I said, I have the smaller meeting rooms, which are about 4 to 6 chairs. Same thing, they're empty. So on all of our screens, I want Zoom. I'm a fan of Zoom. I want Zoom rooms. So this is the time where we're just not saying, oh, just in our one meeting room, we'll have one Zoom room. No, every room has to be a Zoom room.
And of course, you have some rooms that are going to need that complicated, that are going to be much more advanced. And of course, that's Crestron bread and butter, like we talked about. But also having some large rooms where I want a simple to deploy all-in-one video bar where I can just throw the bar on the wall, power Ethernet HDMI, and I'm done. It also ships with our 1070 touch controller as well. So I have my controller, really simple to deploy. We're really excited to now add that to our portfolio. We've been so strong with Zoom rooms, but all based on Windows. Adding an all-in-one Android device, we think it'll simplify some of those larger room deployments.
That's one last thing I got to give you credit for before we move on. When I got these materials and I looked them over, I assumed we were talking about this size room because a lot of video bars out there, this is what they're made for. Nothing wrong with that. We have a lot of rooms like that. But I thought you were going to tell me, David, this video bar, it's for this size room. I love your fancy boardroom. I'm happy to be here, but we're going to need something else for that. And we have other solutions for that. But you're telling me this big room, we're good to go with this video bar?
We're good to go with this video bar. That's why, again, we're known for being in these large rooms. And so that's why our first solution, our first all-in-one Android bar is targeting those large rooms because that's our sweet spot. I mean, obviously Crestron has solutions for all size rooms. We do have small room solutions all the way up where you can solve all the different complex problems. But our bread and butter is those large rooms. And so we thought our first solution in the all-in-one Android space would be, let's go after the large rooms in a way that nobody else is doing it. So we think that's again, it differentiates us and gives us, we think, it gives customers a real strong choice now, especially those that are already putting Crestron into those large rooms. Now they truly have that full, complete solution from Crestron.
Nice. That took me by surprise. That's very cool. So anything else about the video bar if we move on to, like you mentioned, we have other options, we have other cameras.
Let's go to other options.
All right, so we have our auto tracker, and I think behind you it says auto framer.
Yeah, let's see if I can move my head there for a second, but yeah, the auto framer. So Crestron acquired a company called One Beyond let's say a little over a year ago now. And interestingly enough, Crestron's been around for 50 years. This was the first acquisition from Crestron. So very interesting. I found that quite interesting. Anyway, what One Beyond brings to Crestron is a set of intelligent cameras. So Crestron historically always leveraged third parties for cameras, and we can still, obviously we have strong partners with cameras, and we can still do that, especially in rooms like you're in with the boardroom. Maybe I want to have a third party. Of course, we would support that, but we thought we wanted to bring in-house some of that intelligence and some of the capabilities of building cameras. And so with that acquisition came a couple of different devices, but the two recently became Zoom Room certified, and they're actually Zoom Room certified in the Pro category. So these are really advanced, intelligent cameras. So there's two cameras. One is called the auto. Look at that there. Look, the auto framer. I'm not. I get even mixed up as to which one is which, but yeah,
you got the auto framer. I got the auto tracker.
There. The auto framer is somewhere there. So the auto framer, what it does is it has that little intelligent camera built into it, and it will group frame based on how many people are in the room. So 2 people are in the room, it'll frame them, 3 people, and it'll just continually dynamically reframe based on how many people are in the room. But the really key difference versus a lot of things that are out there is this is an optical zoom camera. So different from what I talked about with the Videobar 70, where those are all digital zoom cameras. These two cameras are optical zoom, and therefore you're going to get a much higher level of quality. And so the auto framer is, again, dynamically framing, leveraging optical zoom. So it's going to get really high quality video up to, say, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet in certain cases. So really, really high quality video image from these devices. So we've now certified the auto framer, and now we also have what we call the auto tracker. The auto tracker will leverage some AI capabilities and literally follow a person walking around. So typically we see this as a second camera in a lot of rooms where you have a, say, presenter zone. So say
teacher.
I'm going to that's a teacher. The teacher's pacing, walking around the room, or I'm at a podium. We tend to see this a lot where it tends to be that boardroom that you're in, where you have the screen up on the wall there. And if someone goes and typically someone will stand right in front of the camera, and the people on the far end, they can't see. As I'm in the room presenting to the board, everybody that's remote is going to see my back. And so what we tend to see is that auto framer, or that auto tracker to go on the far wall. So, and then leverage that camera. So as someone's in that boardroom, walking around, pacing back and forth, the far end wouldn't see the back of me. They would see the front of me as I walk around. So we have this auto tracker that will leverage AI and actually follow someone around. Again, leveraging optical zoom. So in this case, we can go up to 20 times optical zoom. So in that very large boardroom, in an auditorium, where again, in an auditorium, people obviously are pacing back and forth. Historically, you need a camera operator in the room. In this case, it does this all automatically, leveraging artificial intelligence built into the cameras themselves. And so again, we're really excited that we've announced that these 2 new cameras are Zoom certified for that pro camera category.
And this also supports a trend that I'm seeing in the industry, which is the fact that we've realized for certain rooms, and not just rooms like this boardroom, but even larger rooms, no matter how good your camera is, no matter how smart you are, you just can't put a camera in one place that'll cover everything perfectly. We need multiple cameras, and it's not for everyone. It's not for every boardroom or for every meeting room. I think most meeting rooms, Videobar, you're kind of set. But for a lot, even for something this size, at this point, I would recommend, if it's right for you, a multiple camera solution, because you just get a better angle of everyone, and you know, your cameras themselves are doing AI to help. We don't want to be a director. I don't want someone with a remote control in the middle of a meeting saying, wait, let me switch to this, let me switch. No remote controls. But Zoom themselves and Microsoft Teams, they're working on software, intelligent director to work with the cameras, work with the intelligence in the cameras. Even they get it, that we need multiple cameras for some
reasons.
We
have a solution today. We're not yet Zoom certified, which is why I would like to come back to you in a few weeks, is we have a solution called Automate VX that can tie a lot of these cameras together, where we can have up to 12 cameras in a room that will do all the mixing and matching of the cameras, so that you said, I don't need an operator, you shouldn't need an operator in the room to do all this. So we have that solution already today. Would absolutely love to come on another talk with you again, and maybe give you a demonstration of it, because it is quite phenomenal of the experience that we can do with, like I said, up to 12 optical zoom cameras around the room, all automated. But that should probably be a discussion amongst itself.
Yeah, but it's we should have it because it's cutting edge stuff and people are asking.
It really is.
Really anything else on the cameras before we move into our next?
I think let's keep going.
All right, we have our Zoom phone.
Yeah, so Crestron has had an all-in-one personal device that includes the microphone, camera, speakers, the telephony, and the ability to run some third-party applications. And we are now introducing a Zoom version of that. So we're able to run that Zoom Phone edition, their Zoom Phone appliance, software can now run on this device. So it really makes it compact. I have one sitting on my desk. I use it quite often for a lot of meetings, because I don't have to worry about my processor, my PC. I mean, I have my laptop in front of me. I got about 75 Chrome bot windows open. So, you know, my PC is constantly just getting hammered. And if I want to have that consistent experience where I just have this device sitting right off to the side for me, and I'm able to get in my calls when I want, just with a click of a button. If I have to make a call, if I want to do any messaging, I can do it all within this self-contained device. We tend to see this a lot for smaller huddle spaces, people working from home, executive offices. And so, like you said, you started off earlier, you know, Crestron is so known for a lot of all of this great AV in the conference rooms, but we're so much more than that now. Right now we are all in on the UC space as one of the big leaders around the unified communications devices, which we've traditionally called Flex. We're now adding the Android bar, and we're now also adding this Zoom Phone appliance as well, to really just bridge out and fill in some of the gaps for that portfolio. So we have that strong strength in AV. We're building out and continuing to build out that portfolio within the unified communication space as well.
Now, there's a couple reasons I'm excited about this. You know, first of all, anything Zoom. If you look at my website, look at my YouTube channel, I cover Zoom a lot. I do. I pay a lot of attention to Zoom, and Zoom has this analyst event called Perspectives, where they fly me and another 30, 40 analysts out to California, and they wine and dine us, and they give us, you know, better than the food. They give us like 2 days with the execs to ask them all these questions about everything to do with Zoom, and it was 2 years ago at Zoom Perspectives, the first one they had in person after the pandemic, where they were talking about Zoom Phone. And I'm like, I like video, phone, blah, whatever, you know. I'm like, and all the other analysts like, yeah, Zoom's doing phone now. Sure, they're not doing anything. And they brought up on the screen that they had 5 million licenses already sold. So Zoom Phone is a thing, and this was a couple of years ago. It's grown since then. It's I don't know how much, but there are millions of people using Zoom Phone, because at a lot of offices, people still want to have a phone, and you don't want an old-fashioned phone. You have people using intelligent phone, 8x8 or Ring Central or Dial Pad or something like that. And Zoom has a really good product in the market. So there's a lot of people, I would think, there's a lot of Crestron customers who are on Zoom Phone, and putting it on a Zoom device, I mean on a Crestron device, just makes a lot of sense. One other quick point is, if you're looking at this really quickly and saying, this is a video phone, we tried that, we don't like that, I want video on my desktop. No, this is a Zoom phone. It's just digital layout. It's a Zoom phone. You still do Zoom video on your desktop.
Correct. Yeah. So it does include the camera. So you can do a video call, but it is a proper Zoom phone. So if you just couldn't make a telephone call, But again, we think that it comes in two flavors. There's an 8-inch model and a 10-inch model. So the fact that again, I use the 10-inch, the screen size, it's roughly the size of my laptop. So it's a really high quality level of experience. And again, just driving that whole, all the beautiful, great things that Zoom provides to you built into the device. So it's running that Zoom software, running on tried and true hardware from Crestron.
Yeah, and I mean, I do like having the, I don't want to make it sound like I'm down there. I do like having the video there as a backup, but you know, I'm not going to talk people away from their primary.
Of course.
Scene. I mean, two good-looking guys. They should see us big.
I agree. Absolutely.
But sometimes you do need that third screen, so that is a nice convenience factor.
It is.
Anything else on the phones before we move on to
I think let's keep going.
Crestron Panels? I've heard of these.
Yeah, so Crestron's been one of the big leaders in scheduling panels for many years, and so we have many different devices. We have lots of different peripherals. We have the light bars that go around it. We have the status indicators that go outside the room, and I think Crestron really defined this, or we created the space in the first place. The scheduling panels, and obviously now they're ubiquitous, but we have the significant portion of the market. What we're introducing with Zoomtopia is the ability to make it just easier to purchase. So we now have a single SKU that allows these devices to ship with the Zoom software running. So Crestron has lots of different partners around the scheduling space. Obviously, Zoom is really important to us. And so for us, in order to make it easier for those Zoom customers to deploy these scheduling panels, we've made it simpler. So it's not a new panel. It's the same panels that you would have known and loved from Crestron, but we've just made it a lot simpler to do business with us. And so with single part number, with its shipping, with that Zoom software built into it, we think makes it much simpler for our customers to not only purchase but also deploy these devices.
Yeah, people could write history novels on Crestron panels, but the one thing that I think really made it take off, because you weren't the only company trying to do this back in the day. I worked in the 90s in a law firm, and they tried something prehistoric back then, and just it was too hard. No one used it. They spent a lot of money and no one used it. And I think there were a lot of attempts that just no one used, and Crestron found a way to put a panel outside a door that you don't need to train people on, and people could just reserve rooms. That's
and now they're ubiquitous, right? Now it would be weird to see a conference room and not have a scheduling panel. And so I think we've helped really define and drive the industry. And like I said, we have lots of peripherals. I think one of the big differentiators for us is not only do we have the panels themselves, and we have a couple of different sizes, but like I said, those status indicators, so that I can see down the hall, not just the panel themselves and the light bars, but I can look down and see the status indicators of all the rooms that are going down that hall. And so we have occupancy sensors that can tie to this. So we really have a true solution versus just a single pointed product. And I think that sums up who Crestron is, that we have the complete solutions and that we can deliver it. Making it very simple to do business with us, I think, is a real big focus for us as an organization.
Yeah, we need that now more than ever, because we're figuring out flex. And we don't know who's going to be in the office any given day, and this isn't my office and your office anymore. It's just grabbing spaces, and I mean, I want to make it sound like it's complete chaos out there, but we're figuring things out. So having these kinds of tools really helps.
And along with Zoom's done a lot of work on the panels themselves to make it simpler, so that if you're outside the room and you want to schedule, you can see right from the image there, right? I can walk up to it and click reserve. Right, I see it's green, press reserve, and I can then book the space. So Zoom has been doing a lot of work on the software. So it's really this true partnership, which is really driving that experience for the end users to make it just go when they're in the office. It just makes it so seamless. So it's really this true partnership between Crestron and Zoom that's pulling all this off.
Yeah, and speaking of Zoom, I probably should have mentioned right at the beginning, all the announcements we're talking about today are going live at Zoomtopia. So by the time you see this, we will be, or I will be. Are you going to be?
I will be. Yes.
Hey, well, awesome. We're gonna be at Zoomtopia by the time that you're seeing this. So these are the Zoomtopia announcements, which is why they're so Zoom happy. And I'm excited. I've been to every Zoomtopia. It's always a really great event. They really seem to. Sometimes I think they started a video company just so they could have an excuse to put on this.
This will be my third one, so which may be all of them. I don't know, but it'll be my third one, and absolutely very excited to be there.
And so, this is what we'll be seeing at the booth.
This and more, right? So lots more to come from us. Again, just really just wanted a day to talk to you about some of the big announcements we're making next week. But there's a lot more that Crestron has to offer, both in the AV space and the UC space. And like I said, I'd really love to come back and talk to you just specifically.
Sure.
We could spend 30 minutes just on the multiple cameras in the room. So I think that would be a really great follow-up for again, we shouldn't be Crestron should be on your show much more often. So hopefully this is the beginning of many.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be sure to put all the appropriate links. There's going to be a bunch of links in the description. And thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you.